Today we're going to talk about Big Walk, and hopefully this video will help you decide if this game will be perfect for your next gaming group adventure. We played for about 6 hours and it was not what we expected at all, but in the best way. In this game, you rely solely on communication in various ways in order to solve puzzles and explore. Developed by House, who also made Untitled Goose Game, you will grab a friend or even up to 11 of them and set off on this big adventure where you'll work together to solve puzzles or just relax and enjoy the views. This game focuses on proximity chat, and trust me, it's best to play it that way. It's released on your PC through Steam, Mac, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch 2. Now, crossplay is available, but cross progression is not. So like you can't transfer your saved game from one platform to another. Now, the host will have the group's progression saved, and that's how you will continue your adventure, like the same host. I want to give a huge shout out to the developers for the early access keys for the PC so that we were able to test it out and provide a review for you guys. Now let's get into the core gameplay loop. Okay, when you first start the game, and remember to make sure you have the same host every time and choose the number of players, okay? You will begin in a tutorial room. This is just a big space filled with important information about how to use the controls, like how to turn on and use objects, how to run, how to sit, and how to use your arms, etc. This is important because, again, this game is all about communication and coming up with new ways to talk with one another and find each other, because it's so easy to get lost in this game. Make sure you walk around the entire space and practice all of the different controls. Like I said earlier, this game uses proximity chat, and so when you're close together, you'll hear each other very clearly, and as you get farther and farther away, you can't hear them at all. This is when it's important to use resources around you to get your message across. In the settings, you can change the motion reduction overlay from off to crosshair, frame, or crosshair and frame. You can also adjust the look sensitivity to help with motion sickness as well. I had to reduce it immediately. You can change things like the arm control or crouch control to hold or toggle, and you can rebind the keys on both your keyboard and your controller. Once you're done with the tutorial room and everyone is ready to move forward, then you will leave from this enclosed space to the open world and begin your big walk. Now, I'm not gonna go over specific things past this point because honestly, this is a game where you need to experience it yourself. Trust me. So the characters are these cute little, actually, I don't know what we are, but we have these big glowing eyes and a nose that expands when you talk, which is super silly. We have very skinny legs and arms, and the running animation is absolutely adorable, especially when we're holding items. Don't worry about the color of the characters because they will be changeable within the game. The first thing that I want to talk about, though, is the incredible atmosphere. Even though we see trailers of this game, it is different when you're actually in it. The style is a mix between realistic and painterly, with big, bright, bold colors meshing with the natural tones. The world feels big when you enter, and it truly feels like you're heading out on this crazy adventure. The grass is tall, the rocks are hard to climb, and the ocean really feels like going on vacation and letting the waves just carry you. The cycle of the days are pretty quick, and so when it's bright and sunny, it's easy to see everything, but once it's night, it gets very dark and it's impossible to even see in front of you. But at least you have this beautiful starry sky to look at. Now, a heads up, there's literally no direction. The game does not hold your hand and help you through what to do once you step into this big world. What I do appreciate, though, is that after a little exploring, you will quickly piece together what to do next. So even though the game doesn't have little guides or objectives in the corner, it's actually pretty easy to figure it all out. Remember when I said at the beginning you choose the number of players? This is important because the game is designed around how many adventurers there are. So if you choose 4, but only 3 decide to continue because number 4 gotta go on a food run and they won't be back because they always gotta go to sleep after they eat, you will not be able to proceed until you have number 4. I love this about the game. Well, not that it completely messes you up when one person has to leave, but I love that the game is designed around how many people are playing. Well, it's like the choices are 2, 3, and 4+. You are able to change the number of people playing for that particular save, just not during a game session, but you can leave and come back and choose a different number of players. There are certain challenges that will be even more goofy with more people. However, it's also really special when there's only 2. The experiences will be completely unique and so fun to experience together. My favorite part so far is just the silly ways we had to communicate. There was one puzzle where we had to use like our bodies and arms to solve it, or when one of us got lost and we had to use lights to send codes to one another. As you probably guessed, the more into the adventure you go, the bigger the spaces are and more difficult the puzzles will get. Don't worry, the game fully prepares you for this and will provide resources to help with filling large gaps between you and the other players. Now with the puzzles, you just have to put your heads together and figure it out with time. Thankfully, there isn't any fall damage when you jump from high places. You'll just get a little dizzy and stunned for like a second or 2, but you can just hop back up and keep moving. Now, items you're holding will fall out of your hands when you jump from those high places, so it's easy to end up losing them. So be careful. There isn't much music within this game. It's mostly silent, but there are moments where you will hear some music, but mostly this game focuses on sound effects. You will hear the sound of nature like crickets and birds, and the sound of your footsteps as you're walking across different terrain. The different items you come across and the sound of flares, for example, are what you will concentrate on. It's truly like taking one big long nature walk. Now let's get into the struggles. Since this game focuses on communication and has proximity chat, we realized that the proximity for the chat was really small. 3 steps and the voice volume dropped so low. Now at the same time, I believe it to just be part of the overall struggle of the game where you will have a hard time hearing one another, but it just feels like the space for it was way more tiny than I thought. I don't think it's that big of a deal and doesn't ruin the overall vibe, but we did have to basically get up in each other's face just to hear each other, which we didn't have to do when we played games like Repo, which also uses proximity chat. The other big struggle was the fact that when it gets dark, like I said earlier, it gets real dark. It's impossible to really see in front of you, so you really do have to rely on lights in any and all forms. What's even worse is when one of you gets lost in the pitch black darkness and you're trying to find your way back, it's even worser because you actually end up going farther and farther away from everyone else because you can't see and you don't know where you're going. As long as you have some sort of light, you'll be fine. But yeah, just beware of the darkness. Thankfully, this game is completely peaceful and there are no enemies or dangerous animals lurking around. And lastly, for the most part, the puzzles are quickly solvable. However, we did encounter a few where we were like, what is this? And since the game doesn't provide any objectives, hints, or clues, you will just have to use everyone's brains and eventually solve it or leave it and come back to it later. So the question is, who is this game for? If you've been looking for a co-op game to spend time together with a partner, a group of friends, family, then I don't think you'd be disappointed. If you guys like games with lots of exploration and you enjoy solving puzzles, then this game will definitely be worth it. There's silly moments, lots of times where someone will always get lost, and big celebrations when you finally solve that one puzzle you've been stuck on. However, if you're looking for a co-op game with lots of action, combat, or strict structure, then this game will not be for you. Like I said, this game doesn't hold your hand to lead you to the next task. You have to completely rely on exploration and stumbling across a missing puzzle piece. This game is meant to be peaceful and a bonding experience, and so there's no fast-paced action, just the joy of taking a nice big walk. Now listen, I didn't want to spoil too much for you with this video because like I said, it's definitely an experience. Now we've really been enjoying this game and having lots of laughs, trying to find someone in the dark and jumping up and down when we solve a puzzle. There was this one puzzle that completely caught us off guard and we could not communicate at all and we were right next to each other. This game is full of surprises and I am here for it. But do you think you'd be up for the challenge of going on this big walk with some friends? Let me know in the comments how you feel about a game like this. If you enjoyed this quick review of Big Walk, please give this video a like. It helps my channel a lot, and don't forget to subscribe for more gaming breakdowns. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and chatting about this new game. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. We actually start school in a few days, and so y'all just keep me in your thoughts, please. All right, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.